Hey y'all, have you ever noticed that when a man shaves his head, it's seen as a big, bold, sexy move? But when a woman loses her hair, it's like a crisis. Like, girl, what's wrong with you? Is everything okay? Listen, today I want to talk about just the double societal standard when it comes to hair loss in men and hair loss in women. But before I get started, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Hey, all my alopecia worlds and guys too. I have finally launched my alopecia sticker line that I am so excited to share with you. We have all of your favorite alopecia sayings that you know and love over on my channel. These waterproof vinyl stickers can be placed on your water bottle, your laptop, anywhere that you would like to let the world know that you are alopecia loud and alopecia proud. This is the perfect gift for someone who is navigating their hair loss and to just give them some encouragement. Drop down in the description box to click that link to purchase you some. Bye. So if you're new here, I have alopecia. I have CCCA, centrifugal alopecia, a type of alopecia that is really common in Black women. And in 2022, I just decided that I was sick of trying to hide it, and I cut my hair off, right? And for me, it was just very freeing. I felt good about it. I still feel good about it today. But I have noticed just the double standard of hair loss in men and then hair loss in women. You know, when we think about, our celebrities who are bald, our men celebrities, Samuel L. Jackson, Boris Kojo, who else? Morris Chestnut, Common. When these men went bald, it was like, oh, yes, girl, okay, I want my man to look like that. But Jada Pinkett cut her hair, went bald, cut her hair off, and it was like, ooh, is everything okay? And I've just noticed how with the men, it's a rite of passage for them. They're moving into their, sexiness when they shave their heads. It's a real grown man type of thing, and it's really, like celebrated. It's seen as a sex symbol, but in women, that is just so much different. It's like we almost don't have that option to be beautiful, to feel sexy with our head shaved or with no hair, period. Now, for women, we are expected to cover up our hair loss, even within our friend groups, within our families. Ooh, girl, you need to go get your hair did. You need to just go get a weave, put some braids in it, put on a wig. There is a major push to just cover it up and to hide behind those things. As well as, you hear the digs with women, right? Oh, her no edges, and, her wrap was a little bit skimp, all of the negative things, right? We've heard those things. And they are just going within that double societal standard of that when a man shaves his head and kind of acquiesces to his baldness, he's walking into his grown man sexy era. But as a woman tries to do that, she no edges, she bald head, she all the negative things, right? Which take a toll on our mental health, right? You feel that shame, you feel that depression, you feel that fear, to not be able to show up as the person that you would like to show up as because of that societal standard. Also, think about the way that women with shortcuts like mine are portrayed in the media, right? They may be seen as not wanting to conform. They trying to go against the status quo, and all of these like made up things. And that's just not true, right? All of these things, they seep into the psyche of a woman who is navigating through hair loss and maybe having a hard time, right? Who will I show up as? I don't want to be perceived as this type of a person. All of these things are a part of the double standard between men and women when it comes to hair loss. Something else to think about when it comes to just the double standards within our, real world society are the dating biases, right? A man shows up who's bald on a day. It's like, oh, okay, girl. I'm liking what I'm seeing. A woman shows up bald on a day. It's like, wait a minute, are you catfishing me? What's wrong with you? You ain't sick, is you? All of these things when it comes to dating. Right. Also, and thinking about just the confidence, right, of being able to show up as a bald woman on a date, and not feel like that you have to wear a wig. A man ain't wearing one. I be behind men all the time, and they spots just be a showing. They don't care. But a woman, it's like, wait a minute, make sure you, maybe move that hair over to this side. There's just this big societal standard that you have to look prim and proper regarding your hair. That also kind of creeps into professional settings. I worked in higher ed previously, and I kind of worked my way up to director. And by the time I got to director, is when I had cut my hair all off. And I remember just feeling that internal pressure of, I'm fine to wear my hair like it is now, but I would put the hair fibers in, right? So you couldn't see my Cynthia spots. I kind of just felt that internal, pressure, from that to make sure that I showed up professional. I wasn't wearing wigs at that time, but I definitely felt that pull that, girl, I got to make sure these spots are covered. That affected, me washing my hair as often. It also affected when the, fibers started to fade, then I would cover my head. And I just felt that pressure, from that, right? But a man, girl, he don't care. He's showing up bald and proud, within a professional setting, right? There's not that internal tug that as strong as for a woman. So in thinking about those biases, they show up in the dating world. They show up in the professional world, and it can just be really, really tough for us as women with no hair to navigate. For me, I think it's important to challenge that narrative, right? All forms of hair loss matter, whether it's because of a condition or whether it's, just by choice. You chose to just shave your head. I think that it's important to begin to normalize those things within our media as well, right? To see more bald women. I know anytime like I see like a store or just an ad and I see a bald woman, I'm like, yes ma'am. Like I actually go and look and see what they have to offer. It's important to see women with no hair in media and shown in positive lights. Also in just empowering yourself. I got to a point where I was like, girl, it is what it is. I cut my hair, was on the hair fibers, and I was like, I'm tired of the hair fibers. I want to be able to wash my hair when I want to. I want to be able to scratch in my head, and that stuff is not under your nails. And I just kind of got to that point where I was like, what? It is what it is. This is me. If you don't like it, oh well, if you don't like it, okay? Actually reveal yourself so I know, to stay far away. But I think it's important, to get to that point of what empowerment looks like for you. If it's just shaving it all off, so that you don't have to worry about covering up those spots. If it is finding a wig that works for you, do it. So I think that that's important, is to think about, how will I personally be empowered? What will I say to myself? Like sometimes I get up and I look in the mirror and I be like, oh yeah, girl, you looking good today. Especially after I get me a little fresh haircut. I'm like, okay, and you'll notice like your confidence just starting to boost, right? I always talk about our alopecia starter kit. Big earrings, lashes, and lip gloss, okay? What is your alopecia or your hair loss starter kit that's going to give you that confidence, right? That is so, so, so important. to be able to show up what you feel comfortable in, whether that's in a wig, whether that's with no hair. It's a really freeing feeling to just be comfortable in your skin, but that is difficult for women with hair loss. Men are allowed to show up, bald and bold, so to speak. No one cares. Women, on the other hand, we are pushed into hiding it. And even sometimes, hiding hair loss is not even accepted. You will hear, little negative comments regarding that as well. And it's really time to change that, for us as women who do have hair loss. So I want to know, drop it in the comments and let me know, have you noticed the double standards in society? What is an encouraging, way that you could empower someone who has hair loss? Drop an affirmation or an encouraging statement in the chat. Don't forget to check out my alopecia stickers to encourage someone who may be on their hair loss journey. And check out this playlist here. Bye. I will